Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast where we make learning English fun and practical. I'm Isabella, and today we have an exciting episode for you, Travel Stories. We're going to share some of our favorite travel experiences and teach you useful travel-related vocabulary and phrases. And with me, as always, is my co-host, Alexander. How are you, Alexander?
Hi, Isabella. I'm doing great and really excited about today's episode. We've got some amazing travel stories to share with our listeners, so make sure to stay till the end because we've got a lot of useful tips, phrases, and even a grammar lesson to help you on your next adventure. And don't forget to leave your comments and reviews. We love hearing from you.
Let's get started with our first travel story. Alexander, why don't you kick things off?
Sure thing, Isabella. One of my favorite travel experiences was visiting Kyoto, Japan. The city is known for its stunning temples and beautiful gardens. I remember visiting the Fushimi Inari Shrine, famous for its thousands of red torii gates. It was an unforgettable experience walking through those gates and feeling the serenity of the place.
That sounds incredible, Alexander. Kyoto is definitely on my bucket list. Speaking of which, let's introduce our first vocabulary word, bucket list. A bucket list is a list of things you want to do before you die.
Great choice, Isabella. What's one of your favorite travel stories?
One of my favorite travel experiences was backpacking through Europe. I visited several countries, but one place that stood out was Cinque Terre in Italy. The colorful villages perched on the cliffs overlooking the sea were breathtaking. I loved hiking the trails that connected the villages and enjoying the local cuisine.
That sounds amazing, Isabella. Cinque Terre is a gem. Let's introduce our second vocabulary word, breathtaking. Breathtaking means extremely beautiful or astonishing.
Perfect word, Alexander. Now, let's talk about some useful travel phrases. One phrase I found incredibly useful was, "Can you recommend a good restaurant?" It's always great to get local recommendations.
Absolutely, Isabella. Another useful phrase is, "How do I get to?" This helps you navigate when you're exploring a new city. For example, "How do I get to the nearest train station?"
Those are very helpful phrases, Alexander. Let's move on to another travel story. Do you have a memorable experience from a road trip?
Yes, I do. I took a road trip along the Pacific Coast Highway in California. The drive was spectacular with the ocean on one side and the mountains on the other. One of the highlights was stopping at Big Sur and hiking to McWay Falls. The waterfall cascading onto the beach was simply magical.
That sounds like an incredible journey, Alexander. Road trips can be so freeing. Let's introduce our third vocabulary word, spectacular. Spectacular means very impressive or dramatic.
Great choice, Isabella. What's another memorable travel experience for you?
One memorable experience was visiting the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. Snorkeling in the crystal clear waters and seeing the vibrant marine life up close was an experience I'll never forget. It was like entering an underwater paradise.
The Great Barrier Reef is on my bucket list too, Isabella. Let's introduce our fourth vocabulary word, vibrant. Vibrant means full of energy and life.
That's a perfect word for describing the Great Barrier Reef. Now, let's share another useful travel phrase. Can you help me find is a lifesaver when you're looking for something specific, like a hotel or a pharmacy?
Definitely, Isabella. Another good one is, what time does open close? This helps you plan your day and make sure you don't miss out on anything.
Very practical phrases, Alexander. Let's move on to another travel story. Do you have a favorite memory from visiting a city?
Yes, I do. One of my favorite memories is visiting Paris. I remember walking along the Seine River at night, with the Eiffel Tower sparkling in the background. The atmosphere was so romantic and enchanting. I also loved exploring the Louvre Museum and seeing the Mona Lisa in person.
Paris is truly a magical city. Let's introduce our fifth vocabulary word, enchanting. Enchanting means delightfully charming or attractive.
Perfect word, Isabella. What's another city you've enjoyed visiting?
I really enjoyed visiting Istanbul, Turkey. The blend of cultures, the stunning architecture, and the vibrant markets were fascinating. One highlight was visiting the Hagia Sophia and seeing its incredible mosaics. I also loved taking a boat ride on the Bosphorus Strait and seeing the city from the water.
Istanbul is a city rich in history and culture. Let's introduce a bonus vocabulary word: mosaic. A mosaic is a picture or pattern made by arranging small pieces of colored glass, stone, or other materials.
Great bonus word, Alexander. Before we wrap up, let's review some more useful travel phrases. One phrase that's always handy is, "Do you speak English?" It's helpful when you're in a non-English speaking country.
Absolutely, Isabella. Another useful phrase is, "I'm lost. Can you help me?" This can be a lifesaver when you're trying to find your way in a new place.
Very true, Alexander. And for those who love shopping, "How much does this cost?" is essential. It's always good to know the price before making a purchase.
Definitely. And if you need directions, "Is it far from here?" can help you gauge the distance to your destination.
Great tips, Alexander. Now, let's dive into our grammar lesson for today. We're going to talk about the past, simple and present perfect tenses. These are essential for sharing travel stories.
Good idea, Isabella. The past simple tense is used to describe actions that happened and were completed in the past. For example, I visited Paris last summer. On the other hand, the present perfect tense is used to describe actions that happened at an unspecified time in the past and are relevant to the present. For example, I have visited Paris.
That's right, Alexander. Let's practice with a few sentences. Repeat after us.
1. I traveled to Japan last year. Past simple. 2. She has been to Italy. Present perfect.
3. They visited the Louvre Museum. Past simple. 4. He has snorkeled at the Great Barrier Reef. Present perfect.
Great job! Remember, the key difference is that the past simple is for specific times in the past, while the present perfect is for experiences without specifying when they happened.
Before we wrap up, we'd like to share a special announcement. We're launching a monthly contest. Submit a short video of you sharing a travel story and using the travel vocabulary and phrases we've discussed today. The best video will be featured in our next podcast, and the winner will receive a special prize.
That's right, Isabella. We can't wait to see your creative entries. Don't forget to use the past simple and present perfect tenses in your videos to practice what we've learned today.
And that's a wrap for today's episode. I hope you found these travel stories, vocabulary tips, and grammar lesson useful and enjoyed our journey around the world. If you did, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and share this podcast with your friends. Your feedback means the world to us, so leave a review and let us know what topics you'd like us to cover next.
Stay curious, keep practicing, and see you in the next episode.